Uh, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, everybody, for tuning back in once again for another episode of Logik's View. I got to work later on, so I figured I'd take the time to get an episode done. It's a lot to talk about in Michigan, working out some kinks in my new setup, but we're going to jump right into it. Over here, we got Senator Jim Runstead ringing the bell on this lame duck legislation. The freight train is on the track, he says. The Democrats want to shred your local control in favor of a big special interest mining and oil operations in your backyard. HB 6108 usurps all of your local control when it comes to slapping in gigantic mining and oil. Oops, what did I do? Mining and oil. He talk about more. We're gonna just play this video.
And we are about to go through a horrendous experience of the lame duck session. And that's where the Democrats try to pile through as many rotten, horrible bills as they possibly can. They will also be talking to a lot of Republicans to see if they can get some support on these bills, which I will be advocating very strongly against that process, going from one of my colleagues to the other. The first one I want to talk about is the aggregate mining bill. It is House Bill 6108 through 6111. And the big doozy here is that 6108. That's the main bill. That bill is focusing on local zoning preemption for aggregate mines. So you have this big aggregate mine that wants to come into your community. Your community doesn't want it. Your local officials are dead set against it. So what does the bill do? It says EGLE, the Environmental Great Lakes and Energy Department, will take total authority over mining permits, aggregate mining permits, with the final decision on whether the mine will constitute a public nuisance in your community based upon noise, dust, and environmental impacts is not made by you, not made by your local officials, but by EGLE. And there's a good example of this up in Metamora Township. There's this big old Boy Scout camp right next to the village, and the people there are dead set against this. They say, we don't want the noise, trucks coming and going all hours of the night, big lights shining all over the place. That should be the local community. But the governor, using almost all of the sponsors through this entire process, have been Democrats for this bill. So I will be voting 100% against this bill, and I just want to keep you informed. Thank you. This is your Senator, Jim Runstead.
Yeah, so Senator Runstead is a watchdog. He is in there doing all the things you would want a representative to be doing for us, and we appreciate him and others in there like him as well. All right, next we got, this is more consequences of the lame duck legislation. It says grabbing a takeout meal or eating in Michigan restaurants next year will likely cost roughly 25% more under new minimum wage and paid sick leave rules set to take effect February 25th, according to a restaurant industry survey. Now, I work at a restaurant. I'm a cook at a bar, and I sent that a couple videos to my employer, and was telling her about the implications and the impact that this is going to have on restaurants. And I wanted to get her thoughts on it, and she looked it over. She not happy with it. Her sister is a researcher, and she sent some links to her, some Dave Bondi clips as well. And she gonna have her sister learning more, researching on it, and explaining it more. They definitely gonna be keeping tabs on it. So we jump back over here and see what she got to say.
Not going to help for being able to make the bottom line, because this is not going to help for being able to make the bottom line, because not only do we have this now, we have food costs still going up.
Now, what this law says is that people have to make this minimum wage, which will be $15 an hour, and then they have to get their tips and things on top of that as well. But the reality is, what's going to happen is that's going to cause costs to go up so much for restaurants that they're going to start getting rid of their tipped workers. They're going to be less reliant on tips. And so for people who do make a tipped wage, waiters, waitresses, bartenders, they are going to be worse. A separate law mandates a mandatory amount of sick time per year, except you should say sick time in quotes, because people could really take off work for essentially any reason that they want. They could give no notice, and there's a severe limitation. So even a business owner couldn't even say, well, are you really sick? Can I get a doctor's note? Something like that. They'd just be kind of out of luck.
We can't put our work off till next week or next month, or a project off. Like, people are in line waiting to be waited on. They only have a certain amount of time for lunch, and they want to be waited on, and we cannot say, hey, 3 of our employees did not show up today. No, we don't know what's happening. Can you come back next week?
So the problem with this is that restaurant owners don't want people coming in and working while sick. They want to pay employees what they're worth. They want to keep people on staff. But the question is, and this is what we look at from the economic perspective, is it's that saying, there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. There's always somebody has to pay for it. And so if you do something where you have this very heavily regulated structure on mandating sick leave, it's going to affect businesses differently. And small businesses in particular that maybe only have 1 or 2 staff, they can't deal with somebody last second saying, by the way, I'm taking 3 days off work.
For being a set, a running business that needs a certain amount of people for each, spot for it to smoothly run. And when you're down a person, 2 people, hey, 3 people are sick today, so we're going to use our sick leave. And we don't know where they're at. Are they all right? Are they okay? Does something happen to them? And we don't know. And you can't functionally run a business like that.
There will be some employees that benefit from this. They will see higher wages and they'll get a little more flexibility, but most will not. And especially the people that we want to help, the single mothers, the lower income workers, those are precisely the people that are laid off first if businesses can't deal with this. This is a law and the legislature has to deal with it. They can change the law. So they need to figure out ways to make this more flexible on businesses.
Now adding something more that we don't have to. It doesn't work.
Yeah, we got some crazy stuff going on up here in Michigan. My son was napping. I thought it would be a good time to get a video going. He just woke up. He's hungry. So much to talk about in Michigan. Like I said, bear with me as I work out my technical difficulties. I'm trying to get my show rolling. I'm rushing. I got to be more patient. But it's all coming together so good. I'm going to have to go get him situated and fed and all that good stuff. But it's a lot going on, man. Can't wait to get on here and talk about it with y'all. Hopefully, I get to do it before work today. But I got to cut this short again. Brother George, I appreciate all your feedback. I know you said hold the mic closer. I'm going to be holding it closer. I got an arm that come out and hold it for me. So I'm definitely taking note of your suggestions and input. Well, God bless y'all. Thank y'all. My technician's supposed to be calling me soon anyway. So he probably would have interrupted the live stream. But it's going to come together. I just got to stop rushing it. But God is good, man.